Sissy, and you're watching Chrissy and Sissy. So let me first start off by saying that you all know me as Sissy, but a lot of other people, especially 12 and under, know me as Miss Durden. So there has been a request for me to do education videos, teacher videos for just about this whole quarantine period. I am a third grade teacher here in Alabama. I'm not going to give away my district and things like that. I know all that stuff is like Googleable, as I always say. So I'm not going to go into all that. But there was a surge for me in the request or whatever for me to do education videos. So I want to try to do an education video today, and please give any feedback down below, or you can always, email us, contact us on all our social media platforms. So yeah, just keep staying tuned. So to start this education series, these videos off, I want to just start out with a plain video. I'm going to give pros and cons of being an educator, of being a teacher. I don't know what I want the title to be yet, but I'm going to be giving pros and cons. I'm going to be giving 3 pros and 3 cons, and then I'm going to give 1 bonus, and I'm going to do something different with the cons. So if you want to know the pros and cons, in my opinion, of being a teacher, please keep watching. Alright you guys, here's pro number 1 of being a teacher. I'm not going to keep saying it the whole time. Pro 1 is the hugs, you guys. Like, it's nothing, and I'm just speaking as an elementary school teacher. It was something about when a child would just come up to you and hug you. You guys, I'm telling you, as an educator, people forget that we are humans too. So I would have a bad night, whether it was with somebody that I probably was dating or with a friend or anything. Coming in on a Monday morning and just having your child just to hug you, or any student just to hug you, is a feeling that is unexplainable, and it makes everything go away. Even when they like are a little bad and they kind of test you a little bit, and then they come through and they say, "But I love you," and they give you a hug. And it's something about, I've always on Fridays, like, I've always got to give a hug and go, "I love you." If anybody hasn't told you I love you, especially going in over the weekends. Yes, COVID-19 is real and it's in full effect, and I'm upset about it because I can't really do hugs, but I try to sneak a side hug in, like a little arm little thing in. But yeah, I love hugs. So like, that's the biggest pro so far. Pro number 1 is hugs. The next pro number 2 is light bulb moments. You're saying, what's a light bulb moment? You know when you come in the room and it's dark and then you hit the light switch on, it's like, aha. That's why I enjoy being a teacher. That is pro number 2. Why? Because that's one of the reasons we became a teacher. We became a teacher to educate, to teach, I use my motto as, I want to make productive citizens in society. So when you have those light bulb moments, because I'm just going to be real, and it's probably another video for another day, I learned the hard way. When you come in and, we teach them how to add 5 plus 5, but believe it or not, there are a majority of children that won't understand something as soon as you give it out. It's just part of science, y'all. It's a statistic. It's real. That's why teaching is an art, and we come in and we find ways to do small groups and everything for them to learn. So when you're teaching something and they don't get it, and you keep on teaching it, even through my lessons, my initial lessons, and you may have one that's like kind of getting it, but then when you have those children that go, "Look, I got it," and it's like, that's why I became a teacher. And you look over their work and you go, wow, they actually do got it, and it makes you feel like the best person in the world because it was their light bulb moment. So pro number 2 is those light bulb moments. Pro number 3 are thank yous. You're saying, what's a thank you? I have not officially received a thank you, but I have given a thank you. So I am a teacher. You all know I'm 26 years old, and I follow my past teachers on Facebook and probably on some other sites too, and I still see what's going on. It's something about when you come back and your student is successful, or I only can imagine they see me when I come back, and they see, oh, she's a teacher now, and they taught me maybe 15, 20 years ago, but they come back and they say thank you. And I've done it to my teachers. When I see them, I just go, I just want to thank you all. Especially when I graduated from high school, I just said, I want to thank you all so much for all that you've done. The thing about it is, as teachers, you get it more so from high school students once they graduate. But I know I made it a mission to go back to my elementary school teachers. Shout out to Mr. Williams, Miss Hatchett, Miss Wallace, Miss Miles, who's not Miss Miles anymore, Miss Simmons, and Miss Miller. Like, I have students that I told them I would not be your friend on Facebook if I'm still your teacher and we're still at the same school. So I have students that are in high school now that I follow them on Facebook, and so I'm just so proud to see them and how they turned out. And when they started out in 5th grade or they started out in 3rd grade, it's just like great to see them, you know, in these different grades. So I will say Pro 3 is seeing those thank yous, hearing those thank yous, and then seeing how your students turn out. I haven't got one yet, but it will soon come. All right, you guys, so I'm really not a negative person. I vent, but I'm not a negative person. But I'm going to give 3 cons. But I can't leave you with a con and just say, oh, this is bad. Because I understand that there are student teachers or aspiring teachers, if you will, that are going to watch this video, and I don't want to shy them away from education, especially if they feel like that this is their calling and this is their purpose. So with my cons, and what I want to do is I want to give a con, but I'm going to give like some tips to like counteract that con, if you will. So you guys, here are the 3 cons in my opinion of teaching. Con number 1 is disgruntled parents. We've heard of, you know, customer service and how the customer's always right. In actuality, the parent is always right. I know as a teacher, if you will, just as a little metaphor, I lay on my back for parents. I will allow them to, don't get me wrong, I'm going to still have that respect, but I'm doing all I can to provide their child with education. That does not mean I'm going to treat a certain, because I've seen this, and this is another video for another day. Every child is a learner. Every child can learn. So we have to go in with that mentality. I'm teaching in my school system now. If if God leads me into another school system, that may not be a Title I school. I'm not going to teach differently. You're going to get an exciting teacher. You're going to get, new innovative ideas. You're going to get that same Miss Durden that wants to hug you. That same Miss Durden that you may have gotten on her nerves, but I still love you and I understand my position as a teacher. But let me not go too far in the head. Disgruntled parents. We have to remember that these are somebody's children. If you think about it, I look at my great nieces and nephews, and I look at them and I go, they're in somebody's classroom. They're somebody who is teaching them. If that teacher did something to offend them, even if I just thought, or they said the teacher did this, I'm going to bat for my nieces and nephews. So just think about parents go to bat for their children. There are times children may tell a fib on you. I'm just being realistic. Or they may get your words mixed or confused. That's another video for another day, have been accused of stuff. But you still have to relay that message to the parent that I love your child. And one way that I will combat those disgruntled parents is make sure you're always documenting. Document everything that you're doing. And then show, again, I kind of alluded to it, but show that you care. Because I've had even the nicest parents come to me kind of sideways and tell me this, that, and the third. But I, show my documentation on this date, this. Did your child tell you this? Did your child tell you this? And so then I show them that I care. Like, there are some things I don't tell the parent. I'm not going to keep, your child don't know how to sit down. I'm not going to keep going in until it disrupts the learning process. So I will say that's a con, but as long as you're keeping your documentation, and then it's almost like water off a duck's back. They're gonna come with you or come at you with different things, but just show them that you care. And then realistically, you have them for a year, so you only can do so much with them. So as long as you're doing your best, documenting and showing that you care. One of my professors and mentors taught me that quote that says, people don't care how much you know. They care about how much you care. Con number 2 is paperwork. You're thinking paperwork? Are you talking about filling out special education forms, problem solving behavior forms, 504 forms? You guys, the paperwork in education includes grading, includes those services that we may have to provide. You're going to have to do paperwork. You're going to do data. It's a lot of paperwork. I will say this, or let me say this. we teach, and like my school is 7:45 to, we start this at 2:45. So all day I'm teaching children. I'm that local parentis. I'm that parent that's, away from home. So I'm teaching all day, but I may have to fill in data. I gave my students a test, so I have to grade papers. I have a child that seems like they're struggling, so I have to refer them to a problem-solving team or a positive support team. And so I have to fill out paperwork. I have to provide work samples. I have to provide information and documentation about them. I have to have a call log. So can be a lot of paperwork. It's more so, as I tell a lot of new teachers, it's tedious. It's easy work, but it's tedious. So how can you combat that? You can combat that by staying organized. And you guys, as my favorite kid saying goes, this could be another video. As a teacher, you have to be organized. You can look at my desk now, and when I mean organized, everything don't have to be in a certain place, or it doesn't have to be so, let me take that back. It doesn't have to be so neat and orderly, even though that's the type of person that I am, if you see. But you need to know where everything is. So just stay organized. Don't let paperwork pile up. When you get some papers to grade, go ahead and grade them. If you got an older grade, have them to grade the papers. I used to love doing that when I was in 5th grade. Have them grade the papers. If you're a little older and you may have a student teacher, or you may have a child observing, I did not shy away from getting those students. I said, this is what you want to do? Hey, go ahead and help grade. So at least that's something that you know how to do. So I will say, stay organized, stay on top of your materials and your work, because at the end of the day, we're teaching, and the paperwork can get so much that it takes away from your enthusiasm and your energy to want to go in your classroom and teach. Lesson planning, things like that, it's not hard. They're just tedious little tasks that you just have to stay on top of and do not fall behind. But that's another video. So let's go to the next point. Guys, con number 3 is, drumroll, testing. I was one of those people that believed I'm going to teach my heart out and my students are going to understand and they're going to do well on their tests. And I would never forget teaching division to my 5th grade class my first year. And they were just, we got it. They were just nodding their heads. Got the papers back because I thought they understood. Then I realized my work was cut out for me. Then with testing, they're not tested at a DOK 1 or a Bloom's Taxonomy level 1. It's more than just recall. They're going to be asked to apply, synthesize, to compare, contrast. That's what you thinking, oh, my children are have it. Your children can understand maybe a level 1 of depth of knowledge or something. But when it comes to how the tests are given, and when I talk about testing, I talk about state testing, district testing, all that's just to prepare them for their standardized tests. Those tests don't seem accurate. I have students that are A honor roll, students that always understand the work. They get it, they're great. They take a test, and they're showing 42% proficient. I'm like, and this is a whole nother video too, because there is a science of the curve in testing. But testing is one of them big cons that I think, even though these are my personal things, I think all teachers will agree. It's something about teaching your heart out and then you're being criticized over your data. It could be very rough, but then one tip that I want to give for that is to look for growth. You may have a child that's at 42% at the beginning of the year. If I could just get them to 45%, hey, a growth is a growth. Don't be so focused on, I remember in a school that I was in, we did like these test analysis, and I would have to give a test after a week of having fun. We would talk about so many stories. We would talk about just a lot of things that they would have fun at. We get to the test, and then I only have 20% proficient, and then my school is asking that 70% of my students are proficient. And it's like, it makes me feel like as a teacher in administration, I fail. But in my child's eyes, they're just looking like, they're not thinking about test scores. And then it's just so much that goes into test scores, testing as well. So I will say that is a big con, but just look for growth. I will use myself as an example. In my district, we look for about 50% growth. 50% proficient in assignments. And I remember when we first started giving out our district assessments, I had children that were scoring very, very low, that were like 0% coming back from just summer break and everything that happened with COVID-19. And so then to go on break and to leave, and then I have 23 students. Well, I teach 43 because I teach math and science. But to have over half of the third grade proficient in math was great. And a lot of them, and then to have the ones that behind them that are this close, they're so close, and hey, it's only December. So I would say with testing, yeah, it could be a con, but look for growth in your students, and that is how you're going to be satisfied as a teacher when you see that growth. Alright, you guys, the last thing that I want to give is a bonus. The best part to me about being a teacher is that you're more than just a body. You're more than just a glorified babysitter. You have so many teachers that get, depressed or whatever, and they decide, oh, I just want to leave education. I don't want to do this. I'm just here to collect my check. But I had to remind myself that I'm somebody's example. I'm somebody's aunt. I'm somebody's mom. I am all that when I step into that classroom. I am whatever they need me to be. I am their counselor, even though sometimes I don't want to be their counselor. I am their safe haven. Sometimes our students, school is the safest place that they feel. And even if they're having a bad day, look, that's a whole nother video for another day, but I think of my students as if, hey, this is somebody needs. I love Mia, I love Blake, I love Cam. I love them so much, like just thinking about them, especially during the holidays, I love them. And I have to look at my students just like that. There's an auntie that loves them, even if they seem like they're spoiled in the classroom. There's a grandma spoiling them, making all their food. There's an auntie taking them to Burger King and Chick-fil-A. Somebody loves them. So I have to make sure that as a teacher that I'm showing that I'm more than just, Miss Durden. Now I do tell my students I do not sleep at a school, and Miss Durden does have a life. But you're more than just a body. Don't let anybody, try to put that in your head. Don't let anybody tell you that, hey, why are you teaching? I got a lot of people that said when I was finishing up my 4 years and becoming an educator, they were like, yes, are you sure you want to do this? And I remember in my weakest moments that as an educator, I would go, was I supposed to do this? Did I need to do this? And then when you just start looking at stuff from different perspectives, I do have an awesome class this year. Class number 1 and class number 2 go down in the books. I'm sorry, but class 5 is awesome. And don't get me wrong, I still talk to some students from different classes and call them and check up on them and see how they're doing, especially in this pandemic. But that's a whole other video of another day. With that being said, I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Please comment, and if you're a new subscriber, you just came to just hear about the pros and cons of education, hey, go ahead and subscribe to the Chrissy and Sissy channel. We do Sunday school, and Chrissy has some things that she want to do as well. So if you want to hear more education videos or more topics, please reach out to me. Please reach out to Chrissy and Sissy on social media platforms and emails, and let me know what you want to hear, because this video was kind of fun to do and just talk, but if nobody wants to listen, then I won't do it. But on that note, you all have a great day, and thanks for watching.